Yes, sir.
Well,
You can. Because in order to solve this, I've got to graph the answer because there's an infinite amount of answers. So screw that. I'm not going to list them. I got to graph them. And to graph this easier, I solve for y. So then I can see the slope, the y-intercept. You guys with me? Because I want to graph the line, and since it's an inequality, the answers all lie on one side or the other of the line that I draw. So solving the first one for y, so I'll get this. You guys check me out. Yes, sir.
this is just, inequality with the equal side doesn't necessarily make it unequal.
Exactly. It's a specific type of inequality. So in this case that says greater than or equal to. Yeah. So it includes a few more answers.
Possibly equal.
Exactly. I like it. So it's what we call not a strict inequality. This is a strict inequality. This is not a strict inequality.
Well,
This is strictly not equal to, right? And this could be equal
possibly
to.
incorrectly stated as an inequality.
It's an inequality. It's just this is an inequality. It's just not a strict. It's not a strict inequality. Are you with me? This is a strict inequality because it's strictly not equal to.
But I accept
What's that?
I don't agree, but I will accept it.
It's a definition. You can't disagree with a definition.
But it's English, and it's not using the correct form or definition of equal.
So what you didn't know before today, in fact, what you didn't know before the last minute, was that we have strict inequalities and we have not strict inequalities. So this does include answers that are not equal to, so in that case it is some kind of inequality. It's just not a strict inequality because it also includes...
the answers that we're referring to are the ones that are equal.
Alright, that's enough. That's enough.
Right?
That's enough. It's a word we use in math that has a definition. Alright, so that's it. How do I solve the second one for y? Yeah, subtract x. So I get 5y.
Then you divide by 5.
Divide by 5. So you get y greater than... How can I write this better?
Yeah, negative x. Negative x.
Good, 1/5 plus 2. Good, so that's the second guy. Alright, so that's my system now.
How did you get the top one? Sorry.
What I did was I added y and subtracted 3. So I don't have to divide by a negative.
Okay.
But if you subtract 2x and then divide by -1, you have to flip that sign. And then that becomes positive, that becomes negative. Alright. So that's the work. I'm going to erase that over there, so I got a place to graph this. Alright. So now this first one, what do I know about it?
Y-intercept. And
Yeah.
stop.
So the y-intercept for the first one is?
Negative 3.
-3.
0, negative 3.
I like it. And then I go...
Up 2. Run up 1. Up 2.
Up 2.
And run 1.
Run 1, I like it. Up 2.
Run
Run 1. Cool. What kind of line am I going to make?
Straight.
Always?
Both.
But what kind of line? What do I mean by the kind of line? What kinds of lines can I draw here?
Horizontal, vertical.
I can make a solid line
Solid, yeah.
or a
A dash.
dotted line. I like it. The dotted or dashed line is related to open circles from before, right? So here I want to use a solid line. Like a student from a few semesters ago said, if you see a line, make a line. Right?
Yeah.
I see a line, I'm going to make a solid line. Now how do I figure out, I got to totally finish one of them before I put the other one on top of it. How do I figure out which way to shade? Yeah, I can use 0, 0 because it doesn't go through 0, 0, right? So if I plug, yes ma'am, you're right.
Is this like what you learned yesterday?
This is 4.4.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Got it. So if I plug 0, 0 in, is this true? Is 0 less than -3?
No.
So is everybody cool with what I just did?
Yes.
You always pick 0?
No.
The only time you can't pick 0, 0 is if the line goes through 0, 0. You have to pick a point that's on one side or the other of the line. Because the whole idea is one side is all answers and the other side's all not answers. So if I take one point and it works, that must be the answer side. If it doesn't work, the other side must be the answer side. That's why I just need one point, called the test point, right? So if I can use 0, 0 because it's not, the line doesn't go through it. And 0, 0 makes the work the easiest. So of course I'm going to use it. And 0 is not less than -3. So the answers can't be over here. They have to be over there. So I'm just going to draw some arrows. The answers would all be over there. Which means all the points that are on this side of that line
Solution for
and on the line do what?
Works.
Yeah.
That works in this equation. That's what that means. Whenever you shade in an area somewhere, you're saying that's the answers. Okay. Now on top of that, I'm going to do everything we just did with this guy. So what's this? What do I know about this line?
Y-intercept and so also.
Yeah. And then it goes
Go down. Go
Down?
Down 1.
1
And run 5.
over 5. Do myself one. And what kind of line am I going to make?
Dash.
Dashed. I like it. I don't see a line, so I'm not going to make a connected line. I'm going to make a dashed line. It's like open circles on that. And again, can I use 0, 0?
Yeah.
Yes. So when I plug a 0, 0 in, is 0 bigger than 0 plus 2? Is that cool? Because when I plug a 0 in, this whole thing dies, right? Is 0 bigger than 2?
No.
No. So the answers can't be over
Up.
here. They must be
Up.
over there. So where do the two things overlap? Can you guys see that? Can you guys see there's 1, 2, 3, 4 areas. And the answer could be any one of those 4 areas. Which area do the two shadings overlap? This one. This little pie here, this little pie piece there. Which means, and let me just, yes, sir.
Yeah, it's all other numbers there. It's one thing that
I like
that word.
So how does this relate to real life? I could have a situation where I'd have an equation that says the energies I can put into something before it blows up, right? So I would shade in the side that doesn't let it blow up. And then I have another equation that says, well, this is how much energy you can use, because if you use more, you don't have enough money. So then I'm like, oh, this area is where I can live. This is the safe area. Or you can talk about load on an elevator. You graph the line and you shade, and that represents how many people can be on that elevator, right? Versus how much room you get. And then you can say, where's my safe area? Where am I? Where is it that nobody's plummeting to their death? I don't want to be here, here, or here, because bad things might happen.
Safe areas.
Yes, so this would be like a safe area. So that's how this is used in real life. Believe it or not, it actually is used in real life. Now, in real life, there might be more than just 2 variables, right? In real life, any situation has a lot of freaking variables, but the same basic idea still holds. It might be like a 3D thing, but screw that. Let's stay in 2D. So always make sure you understand that this actually has use. Okay. So that's it. You do one. On top of that, you do the other one. And make sure at the end you just make it darker what the actual answer is. Right? It's where the 2 shadings overlap. Yes, ma'am? However you like. You could use, I love my students to use color pencils on this. I mean, as a student, I would hate to have me as a student. Because I'm messy and I do things. Students would turn in this much homework, and I was always a kid that turned in this much just because I did things really quick and stuff, and my teachers were like, oh my God, you're on here. Yes, sir.
If I go through 0, 0, what point should we choose?
All right. So let's do 2 more examples that are special cases. First example I do is like you said. So what if my equations were this? Okay. So what's true about the first equation?
Y-intercept 0.
Okay, y-intercept is 0.
Up 3, right?
So the first equation, now we go up 1, 2, 3,
1, right?
Yeah, around 1.
over 1. Let me stop there for a second. You guys with me? How do I know that the y-intercept is 0? Because what's being added here?
0.
Nothing. So the y-intercept has to be 0. Alright, so don't freak out when there's not a number there. There is a number there. 0, the number that doesn't show up. And then what kind of line is it going to be?
Dash.
Dashed. Save it once. And then can I use 0, 0?
No.
No.
Shit.
Yes, you can. No? Oh,
No.
yeah, no.
It won't determine which side because it's on the fence. It won't tell me which side things are on because it's sitting on the damn fence. So I would pick the point 1, 0. I still want a point with a 0 in it. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. You can pick the point 1748. I don't care as long as you know which side it's on. So you can pick that point. You can pick that point. Whatever point you want, as long as it's on one side or the other. If it works, the side it's on is the answers. If it doesn't work, the side it isn't on is the answers. Yes, sir.
Why it doesn't work?
Huh?
Why it's not gonna work?
I don't know. Is it going to work? I don't know. Let's find out.
Okay.
What's your real question, though?
I mean, because it's 0, so all the points. All the points.
Does the point 1, 0 work in this equation? That's the question. If I plug 1, 0 into this equation, does it work? So what's that equation? But what's this inequality become if I plug 1, 0 in?
1 equal
No.
0.
What's y?
0.
0. So you get 0. Is that bigger than
1?
3 times 1? Use the equation that's there.
Yeah.
Is 0 bigger than 3? No. So are the answers, which side are the answers on? Up here or down there? Up there. That didn't work. That didn't work. So the answers must be on the other side. So the test point, it doesn't technically matter what point you pick. You can pick the point 1/3 comma square root of 11. I would not. I would always pick 0, 0, and if it goes through 0, 0, I would pick 1, 0. Or 0, 1. Why? Just because it's got a 0 in it, it makes the math quicker, right? But you can pick whatever, 2, 2. You can plug a 2, 2 in. 2, 2, should that work? If I plug 2, 2 in, is it going to work? We already know it's not going to work, but if I plug 2, 2 in, 2 is 2 greater than 3 times 2. 2 is not bigger than 6, I would have gotten the same answer. Would it not been this side, it would have been the other side. I like it. So it does not matter which point you pick. I like that question. And real quick, to the other one. What's true about the other one?
Slope minus 2.
And the y-intercept is?
0.
0. And I go down 2
Run 1.
over 1. What kind of line?
Solid.
Solid. Crap. I think it's straight line then. And then again, I can choose 1, 0 again. So either that's going to be the answers or that's going to be the answer. So when I plug a 1, 0 in,
0.
is 0 less than or equal to negative 2 times 1?
No.
Is 0 less than negative 2?
No.
No.
It doesn't work.
So the answers must be
Other side.
that way or this way? They must be this way.
Yeah.
That didn't work, so the answers must be on the other side. Let's get that. It's exactly like one dimension. The answers are either over there or over there. It's just easier to do that. Of course it's easier to do that. There's only one variable here. When I have 2 variables, everything gets worse. Right? Everything gets a little harder. So my answers would be where?
Right.
Right in here, right?
What will happen if we have 3 variables?
Well, like I said, then you would need 3 dimensions. You would have to have an axis coming out like this. Yeah. But we won't go there. Let's keep it flat. Oh, I promised you 2 words. That's the one weird thing that was related to your question, right? What do you do when you can't use 0, 0? The other weird thing is this. This shows up in the homework. Let's just do one equation, just to show you how it works. How would I graph this in 2 dimensions? How do you graph y equals 3? That's where we always start. We graph the line. What's y equals 3 look like?
It's
Horizontal line. Y equals 3, it can't go up or down. Y's got to stay the same. So y equals 3 would be this horizontal line. What kind of line am I going to make it?
Dash. Dash.
And then now watch, let this be easy. Where are the y's bigger than that? Which way am I going to shape? Up. So if it was, if there's another one that was x is less than negative 2, well, what's x equal negative 2 look like?
Horizontal. Vertical.
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 At negative 2. So here's negative 2. It would be like this. And where are the x's less than negative 2?
negative sign.
Back this way.
Yeah.
So my answers would be in that little... And it's not little, it actually goes forever, but that corner would be the answers.
So you only need to pick a point to check the answer?
Yeah, on these, special case is always easy if you realize it's the special case. I don't even have to pick a test. You could. But why don't I need to? Why greater than 3? It's obviously got to be above that. If it was less than 3, it would be below that. X is the same way. It's below or above. It's easy then. Yeah. When you have both variables, it's a little weird. It's all diagonal and shit. Yeah. So you want to use a test point. Be careful. Okay. That's section 4.4. Yes, ma'am.
Can we do some word problems? I'm in a lot of trouble.
All right, where are we at? Which one?
Any word problem.
Which section are you looking at?
Probably,
Page read.
well, I was on page 292. I haven't really tried any of them.
I like it. Okay. So let me see. Let me do one that's not on there. Yeah. 577. All right, let's try number 74. Let's do 72 and 74. It says a rectangular garden has 88 feet of fencing. This sounds very familiar, right?
Wait, on which page?
Page 292. It's in the review section.
Oh, 72. I was going to 74. Like, this is candy.
Yeah, I want a big ass plot of candy. Fill this garden with candy, please. Thank you. The garden is 4 feet longer than it is wide. So I got length. Now, I'm allowed to use two variables here now, right? So what's the length?
X.
So it's the width.
1.
I love it. So now that we know how to deal with two variable equations, I can use two variables now. So let me label this. My length is x and my width is y. Oh, well, let's make it. Okay.
2x plus 2y.
So what's one equation I can write from the very first thing I wrote up there? Yeah, you're starting to say
2x plus 2y.
Yeah, so the perimeter, 2x's and 2y's, has to be 88. And then the second thing they tell me is it's 4 feet longer than it is wide.
So it's okay. So y is equal 88 plus x.
Is this bigger or is this bigger? It's 4 feet longer than it is wide. This is bigger. So that is 4 feet longer than it is wide.
Y plus.
Yeah, the length is 4 feet longer than it is wide. So x is 4 plus y. I could have been smart. I could have used L and W, but my L's look kind of freaky, so I decided not to. So, first step of any word problem is identifying the variables. Then you set up the equation, or in this case, equations. Now should be the easy part. What's a really good method to use? Yeah, x is this. So I can just plug that in place of x. Is that cool? So the rest of it should be easy. It's the setup of word problems that's hard. So what about 74, for example? 74 is a mixture problem. Page 292. One type of candy sells for $2 a pound. Another type sells for $3 a pound. An order for 18 pounds costs $47. So I got one type of candy and another type. So it really doesn't matter what letters I use necessarily. What letters do you want to use? Crazy. Alright, X and Y. Alright. That step is a remarkably important step that people skip. That was really quick. So what are my equations going to represent? It says an order for 18 pounds of candy that I'm going to eat in the car on the way home costs $47. So I have two things I don't know. So I need two equations. What's one equation I can write that I said almost always is there?
X plus Y equals 47.
No.
Oh, 18.
These are these money?
No,
These are amounts. Amounts.
Yeah.
Right? So this much candy plus this much candy must equal the total amount of candy. 18 pounds. Right? So one equation I can write is the amount of that plus the amount of that must be the total amount. Now how do I bring money into it? Well, how much does this cost type? How much does this type cost?
$2. 2x plus...
Yeah, the one type costs $2.
So 2x plus
Yeah, $2 per pound plus $3 per pound.
equal 47.
Yeah, money plus money equals money. Money plus money equals money. There are the songs. And now you can do elimination, for example, or you can solve the first one and do something. It doesn't tell you which method to use. You pick the method you like better. So if you did elimination, what would we do? I can multiply the first one by what? What do you want to kill?
X.
X, okay. So if I want to kill the x's, I multiply the first one by, I heard it?
Negative.
Yeah, y negative 2 so that they'll end up opposite signs.
yeah.
Right. So they're already both positive. I multiply one of them by negative so they end up opposite signs. So if I multiply by negative 2, everything, I get negative 2x
minus 2y,
minus 2y.
equals negative
36.
Now, I've been nice to myself. I set it up so that the x's will die.
y
One.
equals 11.
That kicks ass. So how much is the other type? 11
Pounds.
pounds.
So now we have to find
So what must x be?
7.
7. So that it makes a total of 18. How do I check my work?
Plug X.
Plug these into which one?
The first one.
If you plug in the first one, you're not checking your work.
The second
Plug in the second one, exactly. I don't know if you guys understand that. I got the
Oh, you
number
got the
7
number
from the first one. So these will automatically work here. Even if I made a mistake, they're going to work here. So to check it, I plug it in the one I didn't use.
Yeah, this one.
It's got to work in this one
How
also.
many pounds?
Yeah. So 22 plus 21. Let me see. What do you get? Oh, sorry, I'm turning around. 14 plus 33 is 47. So that works. You plug these back in.
I know most of these are like rated machine. Can we just do on section 3.7, say 40? I can't like. I think I'm making it harder than it is.
Yes. But it's not your fault because it's a little bit different than what we're used to hearing. So if a barrel contains 40 gallons of gasoline, and it's being drained at a rate
So it's not
3 gallons per minute.
It's 39.
So help me out. Notice how I put rate, the word rate in capitals. Why did I do that? What's that word rate tell you?
It's
Slope.
Slope. So you look for that. If it says it's changing by 12 inches per year or something, that's the slope. That's a rate of change. So rate or change or something like that, that's the key word. That tells me it's the slope. So what the hell is 40? How much you started at. And how much you started at, it's going to be the y-intercept, because that's when it's 0. At 0, it's 40, so that's the y-intercept. So I know that B is 40, and I know that M is...
Right, 3.
No. Drained at a rate. So is it increasing or decreasing? So it should be -3. I like it. So you look the word rate or changed by or something like that. That's a slope. And you gotta say, is it increasing or decreasing? It tells you if it's positive or negative. You're not putting more gallons in this barrel. You're sucking some out. So it should be going down over time. So then how do I write this equation?
What's the number of this question?
It's 40. It's not a 40.
Yeah. So tell me this, gallons or time, which one? Gallons, is it the y variable or the x variable?
Y.
Y, I like it. Because it's y per x, right? So that tells you which one's the y. So the gallons is the y, and the minutes is the x.
Time.
So I get y equals -3x plus 40. I mean, now it's just plug and chug. I know b, I know m. Plug it into mx plus b.
Okay.
So those are, once you realize that sentence they're giving you the y-intercept and they're giving you the slope.
You just have to put it.
You just got to be careful about, is it positive or negative slope,
Okay.
right? And actually you could, instead of using y, I could use g, and instead of using x, I could use t. Why does that make sense? Because that's time, and that's gallons. I like it. Or use y and x, that's fine.
Okay. And it says specify what each variable represents, just what it
Yeah, just like we did here. So y is gallons, and x was minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
One of the questions of application says downstream, upstream. So downstream is it's up against. So it's minus.
No, up, when you're going upwind or upstream, you're going against. So that's when you subtract.
Okay.
And downstream is when you're going with.
With.
So that was when you add, right? So if I'm rowing at a certain speed and I'm going downstream, I'm going faster than I would have been. If I'm going upstream, I'm like, oh, shit. Got to fight against it, right? That's why if you kayak, you can actually do this and stay in place. If this speed is the same as your speed, you stay in place. They cancel. It's neat. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
Or maybe you've done it. I don't know. You stay in place. You just paddle at the right speed and you stay right where you are. Because the current is the same speed as you're going.
Yeah.
So they cancel out. It's kind of neat. All right. So any other questions? It sort of became a review day already. But we had already done all the sections.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody got a practice test?
Again, only the per minute is the x, right? Okay.
Oh, that's next one. I'm going to upload it right when I get back to my office.
42 y-intercept, rate of change is 3 slope, right? Because it's 7.
Alright.
This is the rate 3.
That's plenty.
Per minute.
So next time I'll have that quiz grade.